Just hold the camera up, John. Bring the camera into the shot. So sort of just, yeah, that'd do.
And plus in the eyes,
about there.
there's lots of bright light behind, so like this.
Okay, ready? Done it. I've been making videos and socialising with film shooters all around the world for the past 10 years, and in that time I've met some brilliant people, and I've also made some really good friends as well. Some I've visited and some have visited me. And this is Jean. We've been chatting film since 2018, and he's flown all the way from Canada to visit the UK. And so far I've taken him to some of the photo hotspots on the Isle of Wight that are my favourites. And Jean bought me a very nice gift, this 1950s Fujica 6 folding camera, which is a beauty. He's also brought with him some developer for me to try out, this black and white green developer. I've not even ever tried this stuff before. So in this video, I'll discuss some of the camera and some about the developer as well, and show you some of the photographs that I've got with this camera and this developer. And also, a few months back, Gene, this is Jean, you absolute muppet, not Gene. Oh, off. Got his daughter to shoot some film in Canada. Beautiful scenes that he sent me. And Jean recorded some of the video of her shooting, and the idea was that I was going to send the film to me to develop, make some prints, and I was going to send it back as a surprise for Anna. But I thought as Jean was coming over, I might as well let him develop the film and then make the prints in my darkroom. So this is the camera, a Super Fujica 6 from the 1950s, and it is a beauty. Jean's got one too. A quick overview of the camera, and I must say I have never seen one before. The lens is a Fujica f3.5 70mm lens, and the apertures are from f3.5 to f22. And the shutter is a Seikosa Rapid, and it has speeds from 1 second to 1/500th of a second. And they fire on all cylinders, and it's got a bulb mode too with the cable release thread on the top, so plenty of shutter speeds to be creative with. It's got a locking nut button which you have to press to advance to the next frame to avoid accidentally skipping frames, but it doesn't prevent you from cocking the shutter and taking a double exposure, so I can literally take as many exposures on the same frame as I want. Not that I want to, I'm not really into double exposures. The only strange part of this camera that I've found is the shutter advance being so close to the very loose and easy to nudge aperture selector. As I cock the shutter, many times I've been pushing the aperture selector along with it with my thick, heavy, fat thumb. Isn't it hot? Jeez. It's just too hot. So Jean is over there somewhere on the rocks, he's doing his own thing, and I'm going to try out for the very first time this Super Fujica 1950s folding camera, Super Fujica 6. I'm at Needles Park, or Allen Bay, on the Isle of Wight. It's a beautiful day and there's so much scenery here to take pictures. It's quite bright and I should get quite bags of contrast going on. And I'm going over here, if you look at this, look, it's all these rocks. All these rocks, they look quite nice, but I know straight away on a black and white print, it's not much. It's going to look a little bit bland. Over here we've got some green moss, so that might break things up a little bit. So that's what I'll be looking for, and also stones as well. We've got some nice big pebbles here, which I can work on, and that looks quite nice there for a start. So we've got all this here. I'm going to take a picture down here to start with. But mainly, I just want to test this camera out 6x6. My favourite format is probably square format. So try this out and see what we can get. I have not even bought a light meter with me, but I've got a 400 speed film in here, which is Kodak T-Max 400. I'm going to go with the Sunny 16, and this goes up to 500th of a second at f22. So I should be pretty good. And we've got all that green moss in the middle there. The back we've got rocks, we've got the sky, and in the front we've got these stones. So I'm going to try and get these layers, the stones, the moss, the rocks and the sky, all in layers as I take the picture. So we've got a bit of a mound, and we've got all the needles and the cliffs in the background with the sea and the sky. That might make a nice photograph. I've also bought out a Nikon F2 with another roll of, no, not Kodak, I've got Delta 400 in there. I've chosen 400 so I can get some faster shutter speeds in the camera and small apertures, and with a 50mm lens. So I'm going to take a few photographs of Jean doing his photography as well, just for him to keep, as well as taking my own stuff on my landscapes or my seascapes. Over. There we go. Gotcha. So apparently you've got to put the focus back to infinity before you close the door. And if you don't, you can end up ballsing the lens up. So Jean's just reminded me, which I keep forgetting. I've never used this stuff before, and to be honest, I'm not one for experimenting with different film developers, but I know some people are, like Jean, so I'm eager to try it out. It's a gloopy stuff like Kodak HC110, but it's also eco-friendly. It contains vitamin C as the primary image builder, it's got phenidone as the turbocharger, and it's all held together with T, or I can't even pronounce this word, Triethanolamine. It's a little bit like 510 Pyro without the stain, and it's not a bad price either for 250ml. You can't drink the stuff or wash your face in it, but it's no problem if you get it on your fingers, just wash it off. It's a high dilution at 1 part to 49, and it says on the tin 400ml of water, just use 10ml of developer, enough for 2 rolls of film. And this stuff will last for ages, but is it any good? Let's find out. So we went to the annual yacht race, and I took a Nikon F6 with Delta 400 and a Hasselblad 501C with T-Max 400. I'm still trying to settle down with this developer and development times and technique, but I must say the T-Max 400 medium format was awesome, bags of tonality, sharp and very fine grain, and I'm glad Jean brought this developer with him, or else I'd never have entertained it. The Delta 400 in 35mm format was also good, a little bit grainier than the T-Max, but it's no surprise, the development times are longer and it's a smaller surface. I also took the Fujica 6 down to the beach for some high tide slow speed photography at dusk using Ilford Pan F50, and that green developer done a sterling job with the Pan F, showing its good contrast and super fine grain. Already I'm starting to like this combo. So reading online, this stuff looks incredibly easy to make your own PCT, provided that you can source the chemicals wherever you live in the world. All you need is phenidone, vitamin C and 99% triethylamine, I can't say the word. How do you pronounce this word? Triethanolamine. Known commonly as tea, which is a common ingredient found in sort of soaps, you know, those fancy soaps. So, and I believe that's the same formula for 510 Pyro, apart from the pyrrolylgol or whatever it's called. that you've got to add, which then starts getting a bit more expensive. So if you're interested in this stuff and you can't buy it or find it anywhere in your area, you might be able to find the chemicals to make it yourself. And of course, that's all tongue-in-cheek because I've just swatted all that stuff up online. So whether it works that way or not, I don't know. But I'll put some information in the description if you're interested. Now on to Jean's daughter Anna. Jean sent me some footage of Anna's shoot in Canada and I was blown away by the scenery. I would have been lucky to have a bit of this where I live, with maybe a pigeon and a few savage Labradors thrown in, and it's great to see a 12-year-old so interested in shooting film. Anna used HP5 for this shoot, and when Jean developed the negatives in 510 Pyro, they looked a bit tricky, but one stood out that I just had to go in the darkroom and print at 7 AM in the morning before the darkroom become a sauna in the heat. So back to Jean's daughter Anna. She's only 12. She went out with this Minolta. I think it was, I don't know what lens, I didn't ask Jean, but I've looked at the negatives. We've developed the negatives, or Jean did, and I'm in the darkroom. And this one here is, I just think it's a fantastic photograph. It's taken a little bit of, I'll show you what I was doing with it in the darkroom, a little bit of dodging and burning to make it work. There's lots of shadows and highlights going on. But simple contrast zero filter that I'm using, just making a 10x8 print on resin paper. There's the paper, and this easel that I'm using, this little snap easel, is from Bit by Bit Tim Soderstrom. It fits 10x8, gives me a little tiny little border around the edge, and it's just personalised for 10x8 prints. There you go. To start off with a grade 0, lens is actually wide open and I'm going 20 seconds. But in that time you'll see this area down here is quite sort of dark and shadowy, so I'm just going to use this to dodge that area. So off it goes, just this area here, just covering, stopping the light hitting that part for a little while, and just a little bit around the ground, not too much. There you go. In the next 10 seconds I'll let that now burn in while I work on the rest of it, and that should be enough. A little bit on the tree. And then the next part is just now need to burn in a couple of really bright highlights up in this corner here and down this area here. So I'll use this, I've got a little hole, if you can see that, which is going to put light through, and I can concentrate that on those certain areas. Right up in that top corner, if you can see it moving around. That's the area I need to burn, just in that top corner. I'm going to hit a little bit of the tree, but now I'm going to just use my hand in that corner. So I'm just burning in the highlight in the corner and this area down here as well. There it is there. Because it's quite bright in those areas, that sun was coming through. And yeah, the contrast on this scene was, this was HP5, Ilford HP5. And then just a little bit more burning in the centre part. You can see where the light is on the easel there. And that's it. Let's develop it, and in it goes into the developer. But it's such a nice photograph. It's, when you look at a whole bunch of negatives, this one just stuck out straight away. I was like, wow, I've got to make a print of that. And Anna did really well. So Anna, if you're watching, well done. This print your dad's going to bring home for you, and I hope you like it. And there's the final print. It's absolutely beautiful. That scenery is just, it's amazing when you see, you know, we may have this where I live, I don't know, I haven't seen anything like it, but it's great when you see some other sceneries from around the world. You just think, wow, I wish I was there to take these sort of photographs. But you know, for a 12-year-old learning photography, film photography, to just grab a Minolta, do a quick bit of metering, see this scene and hit the shutter, and after developing you get that. It's just awesome. I love it. So yeah, what a beautiful camera this Super Fujica 6 is, and I've got to say massive thanks to Jean. It was actually a birthday present to me when he came over, and I've enjoyed shooting it. No doubt you guys will see this more and more on the channel, along with my other folding cameras, of course. But the lens on it is I couldn't fault it. It's absolutely flawless, and it fires on all cylinders as well. 1 second, half a second, quarter of a second, and it's just a beautiful camera. The rangefinder's nice and bright, and it just mechanically it works brilliantly. So I'm really pleased with this Fujica 6 camera. As for the developer, I'd never seen this stuff before. To be honest, I've got my own developers, what I use all the time. All my films, everything's written down, so you know I'm used to them. I know how to use them, I know how to tweak them. But when a new developer lands on your lap, you never quite know what to expect. But I was pleasantly surprised. This was really fine grain. The Delta 400 with the 35mm, okay, I got a little bit of grain there, but I think that was I was a bit of overexposure and overdevelopment. It took me a little bit of time to settle down with this, and I'm still not settled down with it yet. It's going to take me a few more films yet to just tweak the times and maybe the process with certain films that I'm shooting. But I'm sure when I do settle down with this, it's going to give me really even better results than what I see in this time round. It's actually made out in Canada from a company called Flick Films. So if you're interested in this developer, I'll put a link in the description. Have a little look and give it a try. It's well worth a go. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm going to pop out now with Jean for his last day, and I'll catch you next time.